Ma'i was a native of Raiatea, a ragged volcanic island about 130 miles northwest of Tahiti. Raiatea is considered the Ur of Polynesia, the cradle of this extraordinary seafaring culture. It is believed to be one of the first places where ancient navigators, coming from the west, landed several millennia ago and developed their rich civilization, which reached its apogee at Tapu Tapu Atea, a complex of marae temples that served more or less as the Vatican City of the South Seas. Tapu Tapu Atea was a sacred pilgrimage spot, the birthplace of Oro, the god of war and fertility. Priests from across Polynesia would hold elaborate ceremonies there, sometimes performing human sacrifices. Today, Raiatea, which means faraway heaven in the Tahitian language, still feels like a deeply spiritual place. In 2017, the Tapu Tapu Atea ruins were declared a UNESCO World Heritage Site, and archaeologists have been working to both study and restore the marae. I visited there in early 2020, hoping to get some sense of Ma'i's upbringing. Raiatea, the largest in the Society Islands' leeward chain, is famous for its vanilla plantations and pearl farming. In the distance to the northwest, the great slab of Bora Bora's Mount Otamanu hangs above the glossy blue sea. On Raiatea, there is a certain rare flower, the Tieri apitahi, that grows only in one specific place, high along the volcanic slopes of Mount Temahani. Mysteriously, all attempts to transplant the flower to other islands, or even to other spots on Raiatea, have failed. The plant observes a definitive and delicate sense of place. It won't take root anywhere else. The same could be said for Ma'i. Raiatea was his home, and though he spent much of his life moving around the islands and then travelling the world, he was never entirely at peace anywhere else. Ma'i's family owned land and enjoyed some measure of status on the island, and his early boyhood seems to have been happy. But then one day, in about 1763, when Ma'i would have been 10 or so, invaders from Bora Bora, under the command of the great chief Puni, came in their long canoes. After a 3-year campaign, Puni succeeded in conquering Raiatea. His warriors killed Ma'i's father and seized his family's land. The Bora Borans ransacked much of the island and demolished the god houses at Tapu Tapu Atea, dismantling the platforms and other sacred structures. The impressionable Ma'i likely witnessed many traumatizing horrors. Though the Society Islands culture was typically peaceful, inter-island warfare was characterized by brutal violence. Much of the Raiatean population they did not kill, the Bora Borans enslaved, including Ma'i. Somehow he escaped and fled to Tahiti, where he lived in poverty as a refugee, vowing to return to Raiatea someday to restore his family's honour and reclaim his property. In 1767, when the English navigator Samuel Wallis became the first European to land in Tahiti, the teenaged Ma'i was there to witness the arrival. Wallis declared the tropical paradise King George III Island and claimed it for Great Britain. Predictably, hostilities soon erupted between the English and the Tahitians. Wallis fired his guns at a promontory overlooking Matavai Bay, raining shrapnel and grape shot on a crowd of angry onlookers. Ma'i was one of the many injured. A piece of metal sliced through his side, causing a nasty wound that left a jagged scar. For the rest of his life, his body gave literal testimony to first contact between the British and Tahitians. But the awesome power of the cannons made an equally significant impression on Ma'i's imagination, and he began to fantasize that English guns, if he could obtain them, would provide the means to vanquish the Bora Borans and take back his land.